plan. The players will come straight out once they clear. You guys are ready to go. Is there music or we just go? No idea. No idea. Wing it. Yeah, wing it. And we'll play off your cue. When you start walking, we start talking. We'll start talking when you start walking. Over there. Hopefully. It's wide, eh?
I'm checking these with your thumbs up, eh? We're going to queue in about 1 minute into the game. See you go.
It's actually really far away.
I'll see this with the lights up the back.
Yeah. Yeah, of course, yeah. Very impressive. Yeah. Yeah, I know. That's... Yeah, certainly an option, but I don't think... Yeah, the crowds... This is obviously a big crowd. They had a big crowd for the opening, yeah. Yeah. Story. Rockdale are up 3-0. Full time, actually. Full time. Yeah. Yes. Lance is the fourth official. Oh, wow. Yeah. Junior Conde. Yeah, I know, Roman. Oh, yeah. Yeah, wow. There you go. Yeah. Amazing. You probably, do you remember Des Martin? So Des is the one in the puffer jacket. So for me, just before, played just before I started watching. So, but I heard, in the area, eh? Yeah. Here we go. The official opening. Dignitaries. It's a seismic day for historic giants St George FC as they return to their spiritual home at Barton Park. And how fitting it is that on the opening day of the new precinct, they host another team that called St George Stadium home. With Sydney Olympic the visitors for this round 13 NPL Men's New South Wales match of the round. Yes, hello and welcome for the first time from Barton Park, the former St George Stadium. Tony Tanous with you here live and exclusive on the Football New South Wales YouTube channel. What a historic day it is. A massive day for the St George, the famous St George FC, the former St George Budapest. 67 years in existence. And this is a new chapter in the life of this famous club. This club that has produced so much over the years. Socceroos aplenty, Socceroo coaches aplenty, and they have enriched the game in Australia. And today is a massive day for the club. A big congratulations to all at St George, but also Bayside Council and everyone behind this beautiful new precinct here at Barton Park. It is really a special facility. And those of you watching on the live stream, make sure you come out and check it out at some point. It is a big day for St. George and Sydney Olympic, who also spent many a year playing out of St. George Stadium. So such a fitting day, this one, such a fitting couple of combatants. And this much anticipated round 13 NPL Men's New South Wales match of the round is about set to get underway. We will take a look at the lineups, and for both sides, the managers respectively in Jane Talchevsky and Lavino Halidi make one change. But before that, we will pause. We will have a moment's silence. Our two teams now out on the field. Barton Park is the scene. And we will now take a look at the two lineups. As I said, one change for each side. For the home side, Jane Talchevsky brings in Harry Jones for the injured Nikola Skataric. Unfortunately, the news for Skataric, he suffered an ACL injury last week, so that's unfortunate, and we wish him all the best. He'll go under the knife soon. Been in great form, and we wish him all the best. But the lineup for St. George FC, in goals for them is Andrew de Blasio. The back four, Nicholas Calagiru, Mark Rodic, Kao Digadoy, and Jaden Cito. The midfield trio, a famous name in these parts, Pat O'Shea, son of a former NSL winner in John O'Shea. Alongside him in the centre of midfield, Harry Jones and Evan Suris, another famous name in these parts, son of George. And up front, the trio of Peter Grozos, Troy Danaskos and Connor Quilligan. That's the home side. As for Sydney Olympic, Lavino Halidi, he brings in Zach Zoricic for the injured Jackson Bandiera. The full lineup, Noah James in goal. The back four, Will Much, Ziggy Gordon, George Timotheu and Zach Zoricic. The midfield trio, Sam McElhatton, George Antonis and Darcy Burgess. And it's a front three of Michael Vakis and Adam Parkhouse, the in-form Adam Parkhouse, 2 goals in 2 weeks. And leading the line in the number 9 role, wearing the number 99 jersey, is Roy O'Donovan. They're our starting lineups for this highly anticipated Round 13 NPL Men's New South Wales Match of the Round. A pleasure to have your company. Spread the word. It's part of a big Super Saturday here on the Football New South Wales YouTube channel. And we're in the midst of Female Football Week, which kicked off yesterday. So a big week all round for football in New South Wales. Right now, the attention is here. Barton Park, the new home of St. George FC. And they're certainly pumped up to make a big impression in front of a massive crowd that's gathered here in the Frank Arrock Grandstand. We had a terrific start to the day with a big win for St. George's women's side. And now it's the turn of the men. They're up against Sydney Olympic. And it's Olympic in their traditional all-blue white socks, running from right to left. Now it goes forward from Noah James. And the first header from Calagiru, the right back for St. George FC. Playing it forward is Kao Digadoy. Winning it in the midfield, Sam McElhatton. As I said, a massive afternoon here. We've just had the formalities completed. Terrific launch of this facility. Had some dignitaries around, a couple of big names as far as the politicians locally and at state level are concerned. Steve Camper, the sports minister. Bill Saravanovsky, the local mayor, his team have done an amazing job, the Bayside Council, in bringing this facility to life. St George are the first licensees. They've got access to Fields 1, which are featured tonight, and Field 2. We also had some big names as far as football's concerned. The great Des Martin, one of the great St George FC players in the early to mid-80s, one of the most prolific strikers this country has ever seen. Great to see him still in great condition. A famous name for St George. We also had Tommy Samani, the great coach. Craig Foster, among the other football icons, out here for the opening. Also great to see Football New South Wales representatives in John Tsatsimas. Big afternoon. The formalities are complete and the football, as far as the men's are concerned, is underway. We did have the women's Football New South Wales League One fixture between St George and Sutherland earlier on, and a massive victory. Great way to kick things off, with St George coming away with a bumper 6-0 victory. Terrific crowd here for that. The rain has largely stayed away for most of today. Had the odd shower, but it was forecast to be pretty heavy, and so far it's stayed away for the majority, and we hope it does so for the men's clash this evening. Here is Grozos, been in terrific form. Peter Grozos playing in a front three today with Connor Quilligan and Troy Danaskos, the skipper. I mentioned no Nikola Skataric. The unfortunate news for him, that injury he suffered in the opening 10 minutes last week on the road against Marconi Stallions. He's an ACL and he will go under the knife, and we do wish Skataric, has been in wonderful form after making the move across from the Mount Druitt Town Rangers, and how they adjust without him is going to be an interesting to observe today, with Connor Quilligan leading the line and Harry Jones coming into the starting 11. We just saw Jones burst out of the midfield there, wearing the number 10 jersey. And he'll look to get beyond Quilligan as Danaskos comes forward down the left-hand side. St George's skipper, who's had a terrific campaign to start the season. And that's going to be the first booking on that far side. It looked like Sito coming across. Just a little bit late with the challenge on Michael Vakis. So he becomes the first player booked at Barton Park. Playing on the left side of the back four, which sometimes converts to a back five, just depending on the phases of possession for Jane Talchevsky's side. But he's got to walk the tightrope now. Jaden Sito. They've got a bit to deal with here as Vakis looks to drive and get the cross in. And it was de Blasio who got his body behind it, and he can release quickly to Peter Grozos. Chasing back is Zach Zoricic. Happy to just hold it up, keep a bit of possession. They are a proactive side. They like to knock it around. St George earned a reputation coming up through Football New South Wales League One last year as the real entertainers, playing some terrific football, a great brand under Jane Talchevsky. You can see here, just happy to knock it around. But a really big question mark and the narrative around not having Nikola Skataric leading the line. Connor Quilligan, who was crowned the Football New South Wales League One Player of the Year in season 2023. He reverts to more of an attacking role in that number 9 position. Good work, good control here from the home side, just to keep possession early on. All the way back, one of their new signings this season in Mark Rodich adds a bit of top-flight experience to this squad. Good battle here, Grozos up against Zoricic. Zoricic, the only change for Sydney Olympic today, with no Jackson Bandiera. He's out injured. Zoricic coming in at left back in a like-for-like swap. All the way back to Noah James. Had a terrific match last week against Blacktown City. A match that Olympic led all the way till the final moments when Blacktown mounted a terrific comeback to come from 3-1 down and pinch a point. 2 points dropped for Olympic, but they've been in great form in recent times. Only one loss from their past 6 matches. Starting to build a bit of momentum after a slow start to the season. And they've got Burgess now looking to link with O'Donovan. Nice feed, or attempted feed there from Much. Here's Quilligan just trying to hold it up. Nice bit of combination. Tight areas, and Olympic look to come away with it now. Parkhouse. Not a lot of room in that midfield. Both teams very compressed, and there's Olympic working back through Parkhouse to win it back quickly. Mentioned only one loss in their last 6 games. They've had 4 wins and 1 draw. That 3-3 last week to Blacktown. So 13 points from their last 18. It's been a really good run. The goals have started to come from the likes of O'Donovan, as well as Adam Parkhouse, who I mentioned comes into this in some great recent form. He scored a couple of goals in the past 2 weeks. So he's looking to make it 3 from 3 in today's NPL Men's New South Wales Match of the Round. Here is Zoricic. Olympics turn to knock it around, keep a bit of possession. And now Much looks to deliver over the head of O'Donovan. Parkhouse can retrieve. Lays it down the line for Zoricic. Late challenge, the referee's happy to play on. It's now with Antonis, who strikes goal bound. It wasn't too far off, as Much keeps it alive. Again, it's a collision involving Vakas on the far side. Olympic come away with it. Nice effort there a moment or so ago from George Antonis. Another of the new recruits in season 2024. Here he is. Vakas. Some nice movement out of midfield. Burgess creating the extra number in attack. There's a free kick, a relieving one for the home side. They've been under pressure for the last few minutes. Terrific tempo about this match. The surface here is in immaculate condition. As the keeper's put under pressure here, De Blasio, and there's O'Donovan chipping it just over the crossbar. The keeper fortunate there to get away with that heavy touch, as O'Donovan with the high press turned on that one sharply and tried to dink it over the keeper in De Blasio. He'll be relieved to get away with that one. That's certainly not part of the script here. The opening match at Barton Park, as Kalajuru comes forward. Chance to whip one in over the head of Quilligan, as well as Danaskos. One of 5 games taking place on this Super Saturday of NPL Men's New South Wales Round 13 action. We've already had one result. Over at Seymour Shore, the Sutherland Sharks up against local rivals Rockdale. Plenty of action here in the Southeast of Sydney with that game not too far away. It was Rockdale who came away with a big win. That time, Evan Souris giving away the free kick. 3-0 victory for Rockdale. We continue to keep the pressure on at the top of the table. The gap was closed last week with the Western Sydney Wanderers suffering only their second loss of the campaign in our match of the round last week against Apia. Caligiuri's got a bit of work to do on Parkhouse this time. The deflection was kind to the keeper. So that result last week, Apia 6-0 victory over the Wanderers, closed the gap to 5 up the top, and Rockdale now keeping the pressure on with a big win today. We have a couple of 7 p.m. kickoffs. Keep you posted on those throughout the coverage here from Barton Park. Blacktown City there at home to Spirit FC. And then the Marconi Stallions, who beat St. George last week by 4-0 there at home, up against Hills United. They're also at 7 p.m. And then just down the road at Penshurst Park, St. George City, crosstown rivals. They're hosting Manly United. So plenty of action in these parts. Hopefully the rain stays away. Terrific crowd here at Barton Park for the opening of proceedings. The grandstand has been packed all afternoon. Crowd anticipating a big performance from the home side, but also the travelling Sydney Olympic fans. They know these parts so well. They used St. George Stadium, as I said, throughout the 80s in the National Soccer League era. So there's a real familiarity for both these famous clubs. St. George FC, as I said, the former Budapest, what a history they have. "67 years of history. And they built the old St. George Stadium back in the 1970s. A boutique football stadium as Parkhouse gets it in. De Blasio has a bit of work to do. We often hear talk or discourse these days about the need for boutique football stadiums. Well, St. George, one of the real trendsetters. They were one of the clubs behind the formation of the National Soccer League through Alex Pongras back in the mid-70s. A trendsetter in many ways with their stadium opening in 1978. Great to see one of the famous clubmen in Tony Secker, who was reliving some of those glory days. He was involved in putting the chairs into that stadium, and he's here today. So that history and that connection lives on. But that stadium played host to so many great National Soccer League games over the years, but also to national team matches. We saw the Socceroos, we saw the Olympic team, we saw the under-20s play and numerous internationals. And St. George, the many famous names that they had, even before the NSL. The club sending 5 players to our first appearance at a FIFA World Cup in 1974. With some of the great names we know about: Johnny Warren, Doug Jutsenovic, Manfred Schaefer, Ati Abonyi. The names just roll off the tongue. And one of the great Indigenous players of of those times in Harry Williams. Shows you the history that is behind this famous club, who of course had... The flag's going to go up here against Roy O'Donovan. Those famous coaches of the era, Frank Arrock, who had a couple of stints at St. George. as well as another former Socceroo coach in Rale Rasic. And the success that this club had in the early 80s. They were the real leaders at the time. And they won the grand final back in 1982 over Sydney City. Team that featured the likes of, as I said earlier, Des Martin, one of the real great strikers. They also had Terry Greedy between the sticks, Dave Ratcliffe, another famous Socceroo defender, and a youngster by the name of Robbie Slater. You might be familiar with him. Came across from Auburn to St. George at the time, and just shows you the quality of players that have walked through the doors at St. George FC. The next year, in fact, 1983, they were the NSL champions. They won it on the final day. And that side featured the trio of O'Shea's. Mike O'Shea, Robert O'Shea, John O'Shea. Along with those names I mentioned from the season before. Here they build it up with Evan Suris. Starting to really become a fixture in that midfield, doing well. Where's the number 23 jersey? This is nice build-up involving Rodic and the trio of midfielders. Here is O'Shea. Nice little release there. Grozos trying to turn on it, but quickly shut down by McElhatton. Eight years since they've played in these parts. 2016 was the last time they used St. George Stadium before it was demolished a few years ago. And this massive project that's really captured the imagination of the locals. They've come out in force today. Bit of rain around, but it certainly hasn't dampened the spirits. Great to see so many youngsters, all the junior players from St. George FC, both boys and girls. Got some words of encouragement from former Socceroo and Craig Foster ahead of the match. And as I said, all part of a big week, or big 12 days, with Female Football Week running from May 3 to May 12. We've seen a big growth in the women's game on the back of the vibes out of the FIFA Women's World Cup last year. What an event that was, as St. George come forward. Terrific raid down the right-hand side. Kalajiru, who we've seen pop up for a couple of goals already this season, getting forward, taking turns with Danaskos down the other side, looking to provide the width on this pristine surface at Barton Park. The dimensions, I'm not sure what the width is, but certainly speaking to the players ahead of the game, they couldn't believe the quality of the surface and just how big the field is. They knew that they were going to be in for a bit of running this evening. Forward goes the ball, looking for O'Donovan. McElhatton trying to win it up against Grozos. Just some of those figures around Female Football Week and the growths that we have seen. 17% increase on season 2023 as far as registrations are concerned. And encouragingly, we've seen a 23% increase in registrations for players aged 5 to 12. So that's big news about the future of female football and the future of the women's game. All the youngsters inspired by the feats of the likes of Mary Fowler, Caitlin Ford, and everything that they did in the FIFA Women's World Cup. Here comes Timotheou. Looks to play it over the top. Not a bad idea. Zoricic getting forward down the left-hand side. Also encouraging to see the number of coaches across the registrations. Female coaches up by 35% this season. Referees up by 24%. As Harry Jones bursts forward out of midfield. Chance here for the home side. Great ball, and it was great defending. Will Much with an important intervention as Danaskos was lining up for a header at the back post. Will Much with the clearance. Important defensive contribution because the shape on the delivery from Harry Jones was pinpoint. And the crowd here was just about ready to celebrate the opening goal. Parkhouse working back for Olympic. Still in play. Rodic comes across. The ball boy was ushering that one out, but as I said, it's such a wide pitch here. Two teams that do like to stretch the play from side to side. You sense that Jane Talchevsky with Danaskos one side, Kalajiru on the other will really relish this as a home ground in the coming years. Back to Noah James. Thought he was excellent last week early on, particularly against Blacktown City. As Olympic built a 3-1 buffer, Noah James made 2 or 3 terrific stops. Custodian has joined from some time in the A-League system at Newcastle Jets. Happy to keep possession. They're calling for the switch out as Olympic try to apply the high press on Keo Digadoy, the experienced central defender. He's come across this year to the New South Wales National Premier League after spending a few seasons in the NPL of Victoria. The Brazilian, who adds a bit of experience. Particularly, they've been quite light on with a couple of key defenders from last season's campaign, in particular Luke Vlastelica, still recovering from a knee surgery. Nice ball out from O'Shea. Kalajiru just happy to hold it up. St. George in their famous red and white with those traditional green socks. Of course, those famous Hungarian colours. Club steeped in history, the traditions of post-World War II migration. They've been leaders in every way, this club, and it's great to see them back up in the top flight of NPL New South Wales after 10 years it's been since they were last here. 2014, we have to go back to the last time they spent one season in the NPL top flight. It's been a bit of an up and down history over the past 20 years after those successes, particularly in the 80s. This facility will set them up, they hope, for the future. Great to have a new home base. Back in the area that they're familiar with. Here is Suris. Making the run forward is Kalajiru. Instead, happy to drop it off to Grozos, just keeping possession for now. Now, Grozos with that left foot looks to get it out to Danaskos. Sito trying to keep the pressure on with the high press here from the home side. Digadoy happy to knock that one out.
you're enjoying the coverage so far. 25 minutes in. No score yet. St George FC up against Sydney Olympic. Opening day here at Barton Park. What a facility it is. 3 football grounds. 2 of those have been licensed to St George FC. We've got a packed Frank Arrock grandstand. What a delightful tip of the hat that is to a great of the game that the council here has named the grandstand after our famous former Socceroos coach. Really did an incredible job of bringing his professionalism from former Yugoslavia to Australian football. As Parkhouse comes forward. De Blasio spills it, and it's a chance here for Varkas, who tried to turn on that one quickly. The keeper, not for the first time, has made a bit of an error. And Olympic not able to punish him. We saw O'Donovan earlier on trying to chip De Blasio. There's a good press from Parkhouse, who provided the cross that De Blasio spilt. Now George Antonis. Screw up, not too far from this ground. Zoricic. Not quite on the same wavelength there. Parkhouse wanted it in behind. Antonis so quick to pounce on the loose ball. And he can get Ziggy Gordon coming forward. He takes the space. Michael Vakis it is. 3 goals for him for the season so far. But it's been a lean April for him. Those goals coming in the earlier part of the campaign, so he'll be keen to pick up another one. Gordon happy to go back to Matt McElhatton. Olympic just keeping a bit of possession. Both teams really enjoying the lush surface here at Barton Park. Amazing drainage system that's been installed by Bayside Council. It's got a massive wrap. We'll keep an eye on that throughout the coming weeks and seasons. Understand that if it is a heavy downpour, it doesn't have much of an impact. Drains ever so well. As the ball goes over the top now to Vakis. He can go one-on-one against Sito. Michael Vakis it is. And he couldn't quite get the power on that effort. Comfortable for De Blasio. Also, you might see the ground well lit up. Some terrific lighting that's been put in here. New modern LED lighting. Understand that it's 300 lux. So the ground lit up. Hope that's coming through. We've got our camera crew, of course, as usual, from Sportscast here, bringing you all the footage. It's been a big day at Barton Park. As the ball goes over the top, looking for Quilligan. Now he might get another chance with his feet. Quilligan, he can try. Across the face there, it wasn't too far away. A good moment for the number 8. He's already got himself 1 goal for the season. He managed to hit double figures last year, as I said, on his way to Player of the Year honours in Football New South Wales League 1. And he took on Timotheu. Couldn't quite hit the target. His goal did feature in one of the only other time we've featured St George in match of the round this year. Back in round 8, they provided an impressive performance against the Western Sydney Wanderers. Twice they hit the lead, but the Wanderers were able to come away with it with a 4-2 victory in the end. But Quilligan at one point made it 2-1 in the first half. And really the issue for St George on that evening was that when they did take the lead, they weren't able to sustain it for long enough. They let the Wanderers back in the game quickly. That's something that they're really trying to learn in the top flight. The concentration levels required. And the standards across the league are so high that you can't afford to momentarily switch off. And if you do, the punishment comes, and they saw it that day against the Wanderers. As O'Donovan tries to skip in behind. Good work from Cito. Now Parkhouse. Good movement here from Olympic as Antonis fires. And he can't get it down. But another good bit of high press from Labano Halidi's men. O'Donovan, Parkhouse involved. That's really been the lesson for St. George, stepping up to the top flight. Sometimes the errors defensively and then the lack of clinical finishing at the other end. Everything between the two boxes has been very competitive. And as they progress, no doubt their work in both boxes, something that Jana Talchevsky's certainly spoken about. That work at both ends, just being clinical defensively and clinical when they do get their chances. Here's Quilligan, shows great feet. Of course, a player with a futsal pedigree. And this is a nice bit of combination. And St. George are going to get the free kick. Good hold-up play from Quilligan. That's something that they did have through Skataric, who's so good at holding up the play and getting the midfield involved in the opening 10 or 11 rounds. Fortunately, last week, if you're just joining us, that news about Skataric, suffered an ACL injury, an innocuous moment on the knee sideline when he got his foot caught in the grass and he twisted his knee. Chatting to him ahead of the game. Everyone in the Football New South Wales fraternity wishes young Skataric the best with his operation and recovery. St. George are trying to do the business for him today. They've got a free kick and they've got the left foot of Peter Grozos. We're in the 34th minute. Can he provide the delivery? Quilligan, one of the natural targets. Ko Digadoy's in there as well. And it's Grozos. Who will he aim for? It's into a dangerous area, and it's a great header. Quilligan just over the crossbar, not too far away. Put on a dime by Peter Grozos. And Quilligan, we've spoken about how he's such a central figure for the home side this evening. Almost getting the opening goal. Nice win there by Calagiru. Here's O'Shea, he's in a high position. And now Quilligan, chance to lay it across. He was looking for Danaskos. Couldn't quite make it connect. Players enjoying sliding around. Had a bit of water. So there's a bit of top water on the surface. And the lush grass here at Barton Park. Certainly to the players' liking. Rodic out to Calagiru. Now Grozos, growing in influence. Such a technical footballer. Spoken about the futsal pedigree of Quilligan. Well, Grozos is another player who's been brought up with the futsal ball at his feet as well. And it is something that Jana Talchevsky does encourage technical players. Proactive, in possession type of template. And Tonus out now to Zoricic. As we go into the final 10 minutes of regulation time in the opening half. No score yet here at Barton Park. Who's going to score the first men's top flight goal at this facility? We saw 6 in Football New South Wales League 1 Women's earlier on. Terrific performance from the home side, St. George over Sutherland. No doubt we'll get plenty of goals across the remaining games as well in the NPL men's tonight. Keep you posted on progress. We've just had kick-off at the Palace, Marconi, who are taking on Hills United. Not far away from a start at Landon Stadium, Blacktown City hosting Spirit FC, who got 2 wins over them last year. So Spirit, who down near the bottom of the table, looking for an important win if they can get it. Proved to be Blacktown's bogey side last season. Can they repeat the dose in 24? And kicking off in about 15 minutes down the road, St George City, they're up against Manly United as Parkhouse looks towards the back post here. Vakis does well. St George looking to clear. Nice little touch from the experienced Harry Jones. Sorocic favoured here. Nice turn. Parkhouse applying the pressure is Grozos. And there's a bit going on in the back play there. And Parkhouse for that retaliation after releasing the ball. Grozos was right on his tail. And Kurt Ames didn't like what he saw there. And Parkhouse becomes the first Olympic player booked. Joining Jaden Sito, who was booked early on in the match. So 1 player apiece booked in this opening half so far. Referee, the experienced Kurt Ames. Those of you who follow the National Premier League scene in New South Wales for the past decade will be very familiar. Multiple-time referee of the year. And of course, had the whistle for many an A-League game over the past decade as well. Almost at the midway point of the season. Hard to believe how quick season 2024 is going. We're already into round 13 of 30 rounds. 240 games across the regular season. And Football New South Wales YouTube is your spot for all the action in the top flight of both the men's and women's. Every game live and exclusive. Live and exclusive as well as being free. This is nice now from St George. They take the free quickly. And they've got Grozos in the box. Back out to Kalajeru because Grozos was marked by 3 or 4 players. Grozos, who does have all the talent in the world on that left foot, tried his luck. Straight at the keeper though. Here is Burgess. Now in his 7th season at Olympic. Ziggy Gordon comes out. They get Will Much. Certainly been prepared to push him forward down the far side. Player who signed last year during the transfer window from Rockdale, Illingdon. He's made the right back position his own in season 2024, has Will Much. An important contribution for him defensively in the opening half. Clearance that Troy Danaskos looked like he was going to head home for the opening goal. That one coming in the opening exchanges. One of St George's best chances so far. They've created a couple in open play. Olympics' best moments perhaps have come from errors from the goalkeeper in Andrew de Blasio. And they might punish another error here as Ko Digadoy showed a bit too much to Roy O'Donovan, who was quickly onto him. And that is something that they're going to have to learn quick. In the top flight, St George last week, we saw them punished by the Marconi Stallions, who applied that high press and profited from an early error for the opening goal. This time it's led to a free kick. Sam McElhatton He's over this one for Sydney Olympic. Ziggy Gordon's gone forward, as has George Timotheou. Zach Soricic is in there as well, but McElhatton wanted to go direct. Couldn't get his shot down. Again, Olympic trying to apply the pressure on the custodian. This time he gets it out. Battle in the midfield. O'Shea can't quite connect with Grozos, but Caligeru does well. Battling away here with Zoricic. Time and space here for Timotheou to play a beautiful diagonal ball out to Vakis. He can go against Sito. Vakis on the left foot. Oh, it's a wonderful goal from Michael Vakis. He took the pass from Timotheou in his stride, ducked inside Sito, and then shaped it around de Blasio for the opening goal. It's a delightful strike from Vakis, his 4th of the season. And Olympic take the lead in the final 5 minutes of the opening half. Credit to the delivery there from Timotheou. He saw the one-on-one situation. He spread the play quickly, and Vakis didn't hesitate. Dancing inside Sito. And it was a fitting goal for the opening one here at Barton Park. A screamer from Michael Vakis to give Olympic a 1-0 lead. "43 minutes in, it's Olympic who have the advantage. Now Quilligan couldn't quite make the ball out to Danaskos' stick. Forward from James. St. George will look to hit back before the break. They've got a couple of minutes. There hasn't been too many stoppages, but Lance Greenshield, our 4th official on the far side, we'll keep an eye on him when the board eventually goes up. Kurt Am supported today by the assistants in Matt Harris and Aaron Block. Rodic under pressure. Olympics high press has worked well so far. They've made it difficult for St. George to try and build out. This is a good win. Vakis, I mentioned it's been a little while since he's hit the back of the net. What a way to do it. Forward from James. Vakis the target again. Over the top. Burgess looking for Vakis again. It might hold up. The long, wide pitch here. What looks like a forlorn hope in some other grounds. You've got to keep chasing here. It really is an incredible facility. And the players across the New South Wales top flight, they'll be relishing the opportunity to play here in the coming months and years. And we'll have all the footage. Got our cameras here for Football New South Wales, bringing you the action. So keep an eye out on that throughout the week. We had the ceremony earlier on, the official launch. And we'll be cutting up the highlights and giving you a look behind the scenes at the facilities. So make sure you stick around on NPL New South Wales, all our socials. All the action from here and around the grounds. But what a way to christen things. The opening goal from Michael Vakis. Certainly one that will make the highlights real. Rodic working back on Burgess. As we do go into stoppages, Lance Greenshield indicates only one additional minute. I mentioned there has been hardly a stoppage. Two teams that like to get it down and play good, positive attacking football. And it's been a good spectacle so far. Tight affair. Chances at both ends. You expect it to open up in the second half. Grozos getting a bit of attention every time he turns into that midfield. He really is one to keep an eye out on. And that is the end of what's been the first half here at Barton Park, the new home of St. George FC. It's been a big build-up, but at the moment it's Sydney Olympic who are spoiling the party, and they lead by 1-0. The goal coming in spectacular fashion from Michael Vakis in the last few minutes before the half-time break. The two teams will go into the sheds now. They'll get words from Jane Telchevsky and Labano Halidi, and they'll come out in the second half, and we'll have all the action in about 10 or so minutes here on the Football New South Wales YouTube channel. At the break, it is Sydney Olympic 1, St. George FC 0. Players and officials back out here at Barton Park, opening night of this new facility, the former St. George Stadium. What an occasion it's been. A terrific afternoon into the evening now. On the home side, we're hoping that the party would be all about St. George FC. But a former user of the St. George Stadium facility, Sydney Olympic, they're here to spoil the party. And they've got the only goal of the opening half. It came from Michael Vakis on 43 minutes. We're about to get the second half underway. Tony Tanous with you here live and exclusive on the Football New South Wales YouTube channel as the home side running from right to left in this second half look to get back in the match. They've got Danaskos knocking it down the line. Connor Quilligan had one or two decent chances. He had a header that went just over the crossbar. And he had another shot which he fired across the face of goal. Leading the line today in the absence of Nicholas Kataric. So slightly different role for the number 8. And here he is on the ball looking to slide it in behind. And it was a nice idea as Evan Suris burst forward out of midfield. Couldn't quite take it in his stride. Had he managed to get that touch under control, he might have been in behind. I'll look to hit back in this second period. It's been quite the opposite for St. George at home this season. They've used a Rockdale Illingdon Sports Ground in their home games so far, and twice they've had the lead by 2-0. Only to see the opposition come back for 2-2 draws. And they'll be hoping they can be the team today that comes from behind to pick up points. Still plenty of time. As Olympic look to build down the right-hand side, which has been a real avenue for them. Right, nice idea there from Antonis. Not quite on the same wavelength, though, with Parkhouse. Suris pressed quickly. Antonis having lost it, wins it back quickly, and now Parkhouse! Oh, he's fizzed that one across the face. And O'Donovan wasn't too far away. The form of Parkhouse this season. He's got 5 assists. He's got a couple of goals in the last 2 weeks. And he wasn't far away from doubling up Olympics' lead. O'Donovan coming in. Trying to apply the touch on the back post. Nice feed and win in the midfield, in fact, from George Antonis. What a great pickup from the Western Sydney Wanderers. Talented young footballer, one of the many that's come out of the A-League academy system that we see across the New South Wales National Premier League. If this is your first taste, hopefully a window into what we see. A lot of young talent. It really is a showcase. Four games currently taking place on this Super Saturday of NPL men's action, round 13. Blacktown City, they've hit the lead at home against Spirit as O'Donovan turns it in behind. And Antonis was trying to get on the end of it, but credit to Di Blasio there. Was sharp off his line. Players again relishing the quality of the surface here. You can trust the roll. And if you commit to the slide, you know that the surface is going to help you. And there's a heavy challenge in the midfield. Referee waving play on as Antonis won it. Parkhouse gets it to O'Donovan. Suris away. Good early pressure here from Olympic. Looking to extend their half-time lead. Looks like there has been a half-time change. Justin Poon, the player who has come on. Ko Digadoy making way, and looks like they have gone to a back four with Sito and Rodic in the midfield. In the centre of defence. Troy Danaskos has moved to left back, and Justin Poon, the number 30, has gone into an advanced role on the left-hand side. So that's the half-time adjustment from Jane Talchevsky. See if it can bring a new emphasis down the left-hand side as Caligiru looks over the top for Quilligan. Got a few goals around the grounds. As I said, Blacktown City have hit the lead at home against Spirit FC. No score yet between Marconi and Hills United. But down the road, St George City had a midweek win against Sydney FC. Catch-up match. Well, they're trailing at home. Currently, it's Manly United leading by 1-0. Here's Suris. Nice turn and touch. Combination with Poon, who tried the reverse ball to Danaskos. And Vakis, who scored a spectacular goal. If you haven't seen it yet, make sure you check it out. As Parkhouse now looks to get him behind. Good first touch. And what a bit of defending from Rodic to get across. Put the pressure on Parkhouse. Parkhouse, who's on a hat-trick. He scored in the last 2 weeks for Olympic. Was lining another one up there. So the first move has been made by one of the coaches, Jane Talchevsky, who's enjoying life in the top flight. And now it's Rodic away. The feed into Quilligan, nice touch. Now the spread of play, but excellent work from Will Much. Breaks up the counter-attack and he mounts one of his own for the visitors. And Tonus's touch is nice. Quickly shut down though by Suris. And now Quilligan waits for the support. Nice feet to get it to Poon. Here is Harry Jones. Now Grozos on the left foot. We saw Vakis score from a similar angle in the last 5 minutes of the opening half. And Grozos wasn't too far away. The keeper, Noah James, had that one covered at his near post. Just repeating, if you're just joining us, the earliest score from the afternoon. The local derby, Sutherland Sharks, who are hosting Rockdale. Rockdale coming away with a 3-0 victory. 4 games taking place. The latest kickoff, 7:15, down the road at Penshurst Park. So at the conclusion of this one, plenty of action still to come. High feet there from Quilligan, referee. Allowing St George to play on here with Grozos now, feeding it out to the left-hand side for Danaskos. Slightly overhit. He's been a real stalwart since coming across to St George, a player who's had plenty of top-flight experience. Of course, he was with Marconi when they came back up out of the second tier. But he now wears the captain's armband, leads this famous old club. He's had a terrific couple of seasons. Was in vintage form last year, and he's carried it on like he hasn't even left the top flight, Troy Danaskos. Sets high standards for his teammates. Quickly taken here as Burgess. He's got Parkhouse available. The flag's going to go up. Looking dangerous in the wide areas, particularly down that left-hand side. Sydney Olympic 1-0 up here if you're just joining us. They've got the 4th best defence, so they'll back themselves defensively. They've only conceded 18. Fourth behind the Marconi Stallions, who lead, having come into this round only conceding 14 goals. And then you've got Rockdale, Illendon and St. George City, who've conceded 17. So Olympic, with their 18 against, the fourth best so far defensively. They'll be aiming for a clean sheet. They've conceded a few goals. We saw last week the late flurry from Blacktown City to come away with the point. But Olympics' form is warming up, getting better and better as the season goes on. And they've got it out to Vakis again. He ducks in on the left side. This time, Danaskos was quick to shut him down. Can it find its way to Parkhouse? He does well to keep it in. Lays it back to Antonis. First time on the left foot, and de Blasio, with a big yell, comes out. Takes the pressure off the defence. Playing it around between the back four at the moment. Patience still the virtue. Grozos, who's had a really good last month in the NPL top flight. That's a great ball. And they find Vakis. And it was important that Cito got back, used his body well. Terrific to see him take his opportunity at St. George over the last couple of seasons. And now Poon, can he provide the ball? Jumping is Quilligan, and it's a free kick that's been awarded to Olympic. Quilligan didn't have eyes on the ball. Jumping there to spoil the efforts of Noah James, and Kurt Ams, the experience, was right on the spot. He wasn't having any of that. It's been a big afternoon and evening here in the Bayside Council area. What a terrific job. The local council, credit to them for the facility that they've put together here. Bill Sadavanovsky and his team. Great to see plenty of representatives from Bayside here, including one of our own Football New South Wales journalists, Madeline Riley, who works for Bayside. Terrific to see her here, as well as the penalty is awarded. A terrific run down the left-hand side. And Kurt Ams didn't have any hesitation in pointing to the spot. Peter Grozos was the player who drove between two Sydney Olympic players. And he earned the foul inside the box. And Grozos is going to pick up the ball, and he's going to take the resulting penalty. As I've just spoken about, the form that he's been in. We're 13 minutes into the second period, and Peter Grozos, who's got 3 so far for the season, he's already scored from the penalty spot as well in season 2024. Up he steps, and he puts it past Noah James to restore parity. 1-1 it is here at Barton Park. And St. George FC have got their first goal back at home. It's been 8 years since they've been here at the Barton Park precinct. And they're back in business and back on the score sheet through Peter Grozos, who earned the penalty and stepped up and put it past Noah James to make it 1-1. A terrific finish from the spot. Clinical penalty. The party is certainly on here at St. George FC. And we know the saying, no Grozos, no party. And Peter Grozos does the business as Olympic are going to make a double change here. And it looks like we might see the introduction of a player who made a massive impact off the bench last week. We will confirm it, but Darcy Burgess off. One of the two players off. Will Much the other one. And it is Abraham Marjock, who's one of those that comes on. And it looks like it's going to be Peter Politis, the other Sydney Olympic substitute. So two fresh players. Marjock will go into the number 10 role, having conceded the equaliser. Labano Halidi not hesitating in making a couple of changes before the hour mark. So Marjock moves into that number 10 role, and Peter Politis will be at right back. And he might have some work to do here as Justin Poon, the other fresh player, this time for St. George, looks to combine with Danaskos. We're into the final 30 minutes of regulation time. First 15 minutes of the second half has fizzed by. St. George certainly applying pressure, putting the foot down, trying to get on the front foot and really affect this game. They've done that in the first 15 minutes of the second half by scoring from the penalty spot to level things up. We asked the question, could they come from behind? And so far, they've answered in the early part of the match. Politis it is. Now McElhatton. Timotheou with a bit of room and space. It was his delivery that led to the opening Olympic goal. Put on a play for Vakis this time. Cutting inside was Zoricic, son of a former NSL player, former Sydney Olympic NSL player, and Chris Zoricic. Great ball here as Antonis looks to get in behind. And it was an important recovery from Mark Rodic, the central defender, just shutting down Antonis. Important defensive contribution. Olympic have sent the likes of Ziggy Gordon, Timotheou forward. Zoricic and Marjock are also in there. Timotheou's the target. Does well to keep it alive. Now St. George will look to break, and the player on the far side is Justin Poon, found well by Quilligan. Olympic transitioning into defence, but can Poon apply an attacking? Does get the shot on in the end, but couldn't keep it down. Nice feed it was from Quilligan in transition. St. George FC bouncing back. In the early part of the second half. Just around the grounds, giving you updates. Blacktown City have doubled their lead at home, having come back late on last week with a couple of late goals. They've got a couple in the first half against Spirit FC. 2-0 up at Landon Stadium. Over at the Palace, it looks like we've had a red card issued to Hills United player. The score remains 0-0. But Hills will have to do it without the full set of players as O'Donovan looks to feed Marjock. Fresh off the bench, looks to lay it back. O'Donovan gets his shot on, but he couldn't quite get the power. Golden Boot in the New South Wales National Premier League in season 2022. Of course, a distinguished career in the A-League as well. The Irish import. This is a chance now for Grozos to drive forward. Thought about the shot, lays it out instead to Poon. Looks to square it. Suris tries his luck first time. Poon keeps it alive for the home side. Nice turn, trying to get beyond Politis. And now the cut back. It's still alive here at the back post. What an effort. Good build up there from St. George. Caligeru did well. He couldn't get his shot on target, but positive signs with Poon taking on Politis. Here's Vakis. Well done by Sito, stepping up ahead of O'Donovan. Zoricic, like modern-day fullbacks, just dropping into the midfield to add a number. Now a Marjok, who scored last week against Olympic. He's laid it on a plate this time. And again, Rodic. This time de Blasio combining there to deny O'Donovan. Still on here for Parkhouse. Back post. Finds himself in space. Still on for McElhatton. And it was a low effort that was skidding across the surface. And certainly had de Blasio interested. And he was happy to see it go past the post. Great action, both ends. Poon creating things for St. George at one end. And then Olympic with Parkhouse, Marjok, O'Donovan all involved. And the final shot coming from McElhatton. Terrific action here at Barton Park. Nice little combination, Quilligan and Poon. Does love the hold-up play, but he can't quite make the pass stick. Quilligan. Again, Olympic look to Parkhouse. This time the touch for once letting him down. Tight in the midfield. Cyrus's first touch was excellent. He drew the challenge from McElhatton. And the referees pulled out the yellow card. He becomes the second Olympic player booked. Joins Parkhouse does McElhatton. In fact, just correcting the score over at Landon Stadium. The score's been updated. It's now 1-1. Blacktown and Spirit. St. George building it up patiently. Quilligan involved. Again, he drops off to influence the attack. Calageru. Nice work here from Jones. Patience the virtue from Jane Talchevsky's side. As they get it out to Danaskos. Can he get the delivery? Happy to turn and keep possession. Pat O'Shea. They're going to the feet now of Grozos, who's dropped into the middle again. Loves to drop inside, set up the play. How many passes is this now in the St. George build-up? Can they find the execution and final product? Olympic defending well. Marjok putting the pressure on Cyrus. Sito across. Rodic has had a terrific shift. A couple of key blocks on Parkhouse and O'Donovan. Two of the NPL's sharpshooters. Danaskos. Real patience around the way. St. George just keeping possession. Jones shut down. That time he dallied on the ball and is quickly pressed. And Olympic look to transition now through Parkhouse, who can drive on that left foot. That's where St. George have to be careful. Make sure they don't cough up possession, because Olympic have shown that they love to counter-attack and go forward quickly, especially with the avenue down the left in Parkhouse. Goals coming in around the grounds. I'll keep you posted on that. But right now the focus is on this set piece as Timotheo comes forward. Ziggy Gordon's in there as well. And it's going to fall to Timotheo. He leaves it for Antonis, who took the first time effort, and it was always rising. Certainly had the keeper interested. But we are going to go to the bench again this time. St. George are going to make the change. Looks like it will be the youngster in Aidan O'Shea coming on for Harry Jones. So back in the starting 11 today, a good 70-minute shift for Harry Jones, but it's the youngster in Aidan O'Shea, no relation to Pat O'Shea. And of course, a famous name in these parts. I mentioned the 1983 NSL winning side that featured the three O'Sheas, John, Robert and Mike. John being the father of Patrick, who's in the centre of midfield wearing the number 6 jersey. So those connections over 40 years, more than 40 years on, 41 years in fact, are still here at St George. So good to see the history of the game. And we've enjoyed bringing it to you as part of our live stream coverage of this round 13 NPL New South Wales men's match of the round. It's been an honour to be here. Tony Tanous with you behind the mic as Quilligan turns on this. Out now through O'Shea. Grozos continuing to be the fulcrum in the midfield, dropping inside, helping set up the play. Suris takes his space out wide, as does Quilligan. Can they find the target inside? Poon was making the run. Nice one-touch football, both Quilligan and O'Shea. Into the final 20 minutes of regulation time. Out now through Cedo. O'Donovan chasing. And this is where St George have to be careful. McElhatton, he spots the keeper off his line. And it's going to be a foul in the end. Fortunately for St George, it wasn't goal bound anyway. But this is where they do have to be careful. We saw last week where they had their pocket pinched by Marconi. And this time, it's going to be the goal scorer for Olympic, who's replaced in Michael Vakis. And Ollie Pufflet, the player who comes on. So like-for-like swap there. Pufflet will come out onto this right-hand side. Just quickly around the grounds. Blacktown have taken the lead before the half-time breaks. 2-1 up over Spirit at half-time. And over at the Palace after Hills had a red card on 39 minutes. Marconi have hit the lead just before half-time there. So 1-0 at the break. And meanwhile, Manly United continue to lead by 1-0 over St George City. So far, so good in the second half for Jana Talchevsky's side. They've managed to level things up. But Olympic still looking dangerous, particularly through Parkhouse. They go down that left-hand side. Zoricic continues his run. Clearance comes from Rodic. No sooner have I mentioned Manly's 1-0 lead. Well, St George City have just hit back. They've levelled it up at 1-1, heading into half-time over at Penshurst. As O'Donovan looks to feed Marjock. Marjock can slip it in. Pufflet keeps it going. Politis. And it was an important block. Credit to the experience there of Troy Danaskos working back on young Peter Politis. An important contribution defensively as Olympic looked good moving the ball forward in that final third. Gordon showing his experience, keeping his calm. Timotheu, he continues to grow into the season. Of course, part of that championship and premiership winning side for Sydney Olympic back in 2018. And that form earned him the move to Schalke in the German Bundesliga. Had a couple of stints at a couple of clubs in the A-League, but back at Sydney Olympic for season 2024. Starting to look strong alongside Ziggy Gordon in the centre of that defence. That one's overhit by Cito. Now Olympic will look to punish. Antonis out to Parkhouse. O'Donovan moves around in the box. Parkhouse towards Marjock. Nice little knockdown. It was excellent play as Pufflet came in. Good awareness from the two substitutes. The header down from Marjock. And Pufflet tried to wrap his right boot around it. Couldn't quite get it on target. As we approach the final 15 minutes of regular time here at Barton Park. Remember, plenty of action to come on Super Sunday. Female Football Week, a big fixture list of top flight football, all the action on the Football New South Wales YouTube channels. Will get out to the grounds. Action hotting up as this couple of months into the season now. Of course, we've just had the W League Grand Final as well, the Women's W League. Congratulations to a former Premiership winning coach in the New South Wales National Premier League, a former great of the NSL as a player in Ante Juric, who's done a superb job at Sydney FC. And he's won the title this afternoon as Ganaskos tried to get forward there. Had so much success as a player at this famous club, Sydney Olympic. He took them to a championship over in Perth. Those of you watching the Sydney Olympic faithful might remember with a broken arm. They were halcyon days. And then he won the premiership, and he's shown that his ability to do it. As the rain starts to come down, we've been fortunate. We haven't seen too much. Bit of sprinkle as we tick into the final 15 minutes of this men's top flight fixture. So full fixture list across the Women's National Premier League tomorrow. But also 3 games to come in the men's top flight. Take you through those fixtures. A big one over at the Sydney United Sports Centre. Željko Kalatz's team has been in terrific form. Sitting in the top 6 at the moment. Sydney United 58 as Olympic come forward. Pufflet. Again it was Rodic. Terrific defending. He has been immense so far. Mark Rodic in the centre of defence. 3 times. He's denied Parkhouse and then O'Donovan. This time it was Pufflet. With a lunging challenge, really setting the standard defensively. Showing all of his experience is Mark Rodic. Back to those fixtures of Sydney United. They're at home tomorrow in a big match against the competition leaders, the Western Sydney Wanderers, as Aidan O'Shea looks to get him behind. Quilligan was trying to feed him. The youngster who's come off the bench, trying to provide an injection of speed. Yet to find the net this season. De Blasio happy to wait for that to enter his box. So that's a big one tomorrow. 2 matches kicking off at 3 p.m. The Wolves, they're at home against the Central Coast Mariners Academy. And Sydney FC, after their midweek loss to St George City, they're back at home and they're up against Apia. Apia have started to string the results. We saw that big win last week over the Western Sydney Wanderers in match of the round the week before as well. They beat Rockdale at Leichhardt Oval. So some terrific action to come tomorrow as we see another substitution, George Antonis. Looks like he's come off, and it's going to be Teng Qual. Interesting work here is Tenqual, who we've seen in the centre of defence earlier parts of the season. Looks like he's moved into an attacking role alongside Roy O'Donovan. So keep an eye on this. It could be a proven masterstroke here from Labino Haliti. Tenqual, who's already been on the score sheet. We know about his famous brothers. Both attackers. Of course, Alu Kual and Garang Kual and Teng, who we saw pop up with a double in an earlier season match of the round against Sydney United 58. He was playing in the centre of defence. Well, he's playing up front today, and he'll be keen to show his brothers anything they can do, he can do as well. If he can become the hero today in the last 10 minutes, that'll be quite the story coming off the bench. Here he is applying the high press. So Oliver Puffler, Abraham Marjock, Tenqual and Peter Politis, the players that have come on for Olympic. As Quilligan looks to switch the play, Justin Poon is out here on the left. Making the run forward was Danaskos. He couldn't quite connect. Politis cutting out the delivery. Coming forward is Zoricic. And now Makil Hatton feeds the movement of Kual. Out now through Parkhouse. Kual makes the move around him. Parkhouse, can he find the delivery? Looks for O'Donovan. Pufflet's at the back post. He turned on that. Nice first touch, Makil Hatton. Pufflet, first time. He tried to shape that one into the top corner. Audacious effort. De Blasio looked like he had that one covered. If you're just joining us, this new facility, Barton Park, the former St. George Stadium, as Marjock dances forward. Lovely work here. Marjock looking lively. Now he looks towards O'Donovan with the header. And it was a trademark header too. He punched it, aiming for the far corner. And he wasn't too far away. O'Donovan, who managed to bag 5 goals in 5 straight games between rounds 7 and 11. Didn't get on the score sheet in last week's 3-3 draw. He'll be keen to add his name to the score sheet. He's got 8 minutes and whatever injury time is left to try and do exactly that. Here he is climbing. Strong win. St. George in the midfield. And they come forward now through the dangerman. The skipper in Danaskos. We've already seen him hit the back of the net a couple of times this season. Sito, in fact it was Poon, looking towards the back post. Grozos keeping it alive. In fact, happy to let it run and take the corner. They go quick. Quilligan the target, and it was adjudged to have been doing some illegal pushing. He's a physical, strong presence, is Connor Quilligan. And St. George go to their bench, and it's going to be the end of the afternoon. Another strong shift from Peter Grozos, St. George's goal scorer, and he'll get a good hand from those he gathered here at Barton Park. And it's going to be Anthony Morabito, the experienced St. George wide attacker, who comes on for the remaining 7 minutes and whatever injury time we have. Recently clocked up game number 150, did Anthony Morabito. And he'll be looking to make an influence. Good work here with his first involvement to win the ball. And now he finds O'Shea, who forces a strong hand there from Noah James. Good reactions from the keeper. But Aidan O'Shea combining with his substitute teammate. Excellent work from Morabito down the right-hand side. Marjock, nice give and go with Parkhouse. And suddenly they're in behind. Rodic is across. The ball's across, looking for Qual. And de Blasio, after some hesitation in the opening 15 minutes, a couple of errors from him, he's been solid in the second half. He's come off his line on multiple occasions to relieve the pressure. And that was exactly what St. George needed there. Here is Sito. Forward to Quilligan. Politis works back. Strong win by Souris. Quilligan's available. He calls for it and sets the play up this time for Danaskos. Nice build up. St. George, can they find the execution? Great chance, and it's the goal! It's a terrific bit of play, and Evan Souris is the player who goes away celebrating, involved in the build-up. The patience of St. George, and it's a wonderful goal that gives them the lead here at Barton Park, and is the party getting started. A wonderful bit of play. Danaskos with the quality. St. George take a 2-1 lead with 5 minutes of regulation time left. They've come from behind against Olympic. And the crowd, the roar here, you would have heard that coming through our ground effects mic. And this time Souris has just hit the back of the net and got excited, and he's gone into the book for that challenge. Terrific scenes here at the home of St. George FC as they hit the lead late on in dramatic fashion. But the patience and the quality of the build-up play from Jane Talchevski's side to be admired. It's been a virtue throughout the second half. They haven't rushed. They've kept possession and they've looked for openings, and they've created one of the best goals you'll see in season 2024. The patience, the build-up. They found the execution with the cross as well. They don't have to always be bangers. That was a terrifically worked team goal. Olympic looking to hit back immediately. And it's a great strike. Zach Zoricic, if you don't mind. He was only inches away from restoring parity. The left back took that on, and he hit it as clean as you would have liked. Just a touch too much on it, and it went over the crossbar. And it remains 2-1 to the home side. The atmosphere's been here all afternoon. The crowd have wanted the double. They saw their women's team with a comprehensive victory over local rival Sutherland in the Football New South Wales League One competition. And they're looking to complete the double, and it would be a storied night, a storied celebration in the history of this very famous club. We go back over 67 years to the formation post-World War II. And the return home to Barton Park, 8 years in the waiting. And they refused to yield when they were trailing at half-time. Second half goals from Grozos and Souris. But Olympic might have other ideas. Last week they were the team that copped late goals. I saw them cough up the points. St. George, credit to Jana Telchevsky made the adjustment at half-time with the central defender off. Danaskos back to left back. But right now they have to make sure that they stay concentrated and be ruthless defensively as de Blasio comes and punches, takes no risk there. Morabito tries to hold it up and he can lay it forward to O'Shea. Aidan O'Shea beaten to it by McElhatton. We'll keep an eye on Lance Greenshield. His fourth official board will go up shortly to indicate the additional time. There haven't been too many stoppages. It's been a game that's flowed end to end. A terrific showcase of the National Premier League New South Wales. But Olympic have the opportunity here. And they're going to send Timotheu forward. And we know about the drama of the National Premier League New South Wales. There's always a twist. As Souris clears. We are now into stoppages. We'll see how much of that we'll get. It's going to be another free kick. Looks like Lance Greenshield just holding up 3 or 4 fingers. It's a long way from the other side of the field, but we've at least got 3 additional minutes as the ball comes in. And it's a great chance there for Ziggy Gordon. He was left unattended and he couldn't quite get his header on target. Great opportunity, goes begging for an equaliser there for Olympic. We're into the second minute of additional time. Is it going to be party time here at St George FC? The board eventually does go up. Lance Greenshield shows us that there's 5 minutes of additional time. And we've had one of those already. So 4 more minutes for the home side to hang on for what will be a famous victory. They've had 3 already since their return to the top flight. But on their return home after 8 years away, this big celebration with so many distinguished guests and the great Des Martin among those. Former prolific goal scorer, and having gone behind, they've shown terrific spirit in this second half. This will be some victory. They've got the free kick. Every single piece of work, every single defensive play is getting a big reception from those gathered here. And that time Morabito, one of the stalwarts of this club, working back to win the free kick, which Kalajuru is happy to knock down the line. Marjok. Here is Timotheu. Over the top for Parkhouse. Parkhouse looks to whip it in. And St George happy to see that land in the hand of de Blasio as Kalajuru work back. This time Kalajuru provides the option. Still willing to play out St George. Past the midway point of additional time in extra time. In additional time we've had 2.5 minutes of the 5. Danaskos got to be careful. They don't want to give away free kicks. We've just seen Olympic create a chance from a set piece. As Pufflet works with Tenqual. Now Pufflet can look to switch it out to Parkhouse. Olympic will come home and ask the questions in the last couple of minutes. Can St George hang on for what will be a huge victory, a huge come-from-behind win? McElhatton in a hurry to get it forward to Parkhouse. And now Timotheu, who lays it back to Parkhouse. And what about the piece of work there? Mark Rodic yet again. He's been everywhere for St George. He's been a standout in the centre of defence today. As Timotheu got forward. And Danaskos, maybe a bit of gamesmanship here. Maybe it is some genuine cramps. But it's been all hands on deck for the home side. And they've got a couple of players down. Does give me a chance just to quickly go around the grounds and let you know about the update scores. As Blacktown City lead Spirit FC 53 minutes in by 3-1. Marconi are running away with it at home. 3-0 up over Hills after that red card to Hills United earlier on. And down the road, St. George City 1, Manly United 1. And that's at half-time. So you can make the switch at the conclusion of this game. Plenty of action still to come. 3 games in action. 3 to come tomorrow. As we are going to see St. George make a final change. Danaskos back up on his feet. Suris is back up on his feet too. The hero is going to come off, it looks like, and he's going to get a massive reception. And it is going to be the final change for St. George. They do bring off Suris. And it is Mitch Heapy, a central defender, who comes on for the remaining seconds, minute, whatever Kurt Am sees. We did have a bit of stoppages just then, so expect maybe another minute or so. St. George to hang on. As the ball goes over the top, and there's too much on that. Pufflet can't quite round it up. McElhannon wanted him making that run inside. And de Blasio, he won't be in any hurry to take this. In fact, he sends his defenders forward. Mitch Heapy's moved into the centre of defence to make it a 3-man central defence, a 5-man back line in the remaining seconds here. Quilligan, who's got the height, and now O'Shea. Happy to steady it with Morabito, 2 of the experienced players. This time Morabito shows a bit of it to Zoricic. Referee looking at his watch, can't be long to go. It's going to be another yellow card, this time Calagera for some time wasting. In no hurry to take that throw in. Happy to knock it down the line. Can Olympic get it forward? And that's it! St. George FC have come back home and come back in the second half with a massive victory. A 2-1 win over Sydney Olympic. Home sweet home. And the 3 points for St. George FC. What a comeback it was. With goals in the second half from Peter Grozos and Evan Suris to win the 3 points. Olympic, who took the lead in the opening half with a spectacular goal from Vakis. They thought they had the advantage, but they were up against the army that was in the crowd here. A terrific occasion at Barton Park. The official opening, and officially St. George are off with a winning start here in their former home. This famous club, St. George Budapest. They're going to celebrate this one long and hard. It's been a terrific afternoon into evening here at Barton Park. And we're going to leave you with a scoreline that reads 2-1 to St. George FC over Sydney Olympic. It's been a pleasure to bring you the action, Tony Tanous. Remember, plenty of action right across the rest of the weekend. You can make the switch over. 3 games still in action across our men's competition. And tomorrow, all the action in the NPL women's and 3 games across our men's competition. So make sure you stick around. It's been a pleasure to have your company. Wrapping up a 2-1 victory to St. George FC over Sydney Olympic.